That was beautiful. Thank you so much.
There you go, Sherry.
Thank you. Thank you, everyone. That was beautiful, beautiful. Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. I'm Reverend Allie Benjamin, and it is my pleasure and honor and privilege to lead this community and to be here today to share in another wonderful experience, here co-creating a movement in consciousness together. So thank you for being here. We've got a mission statement on the front of the program, and I would love it if you would join with me in reading it into reality. Because what we know here at the Satya Center is that our thoughts create reality. And so we can use our thoughts and our words to actually manifest what we want. And that's the reason for a mission and vision statement. So please join me. We are an uplifting community dedicated to inspiring minds, healing hearts, and transforming lives. We envision a world where we are all accepted, appreciated, loved, and empowered. Thank you. Thank you. So let's take a moment to greet our neighbors, to say hello with a namaste, or a handshake, a high five, fist bump, something. We know who you are. You are love. You are love. We see your perfection. Namaste. Namaste. Recognizing your true spirit, we honor you today. Welcome home. Welcome home. Namaste.
So welcome. Let's just take a minute to arrive here at Satya, coming into an awareness that it's Sunday, that something woke us up this morning and said, go, get inspired, be inspired. And so let's do just that. Let's just, if it feels comfortable, just close your eyes. Settle in. To being here, knowing that the past is done, it's gone forever. So wherever you were at in mind an hour ago, or yesterday, or last month, or last week, we just know that that's done and gone forever. So let us just close that door. In the future, next month and next week and next year, all that's yet to be. So we close that door as well. And in so doing, we arrive at the only moment that exists. The only moment. The now moment. Let's take a breath in the now. Arriving. We give ourselves full permission to be here today. To hear a song, prayer, message. To be inspired. And in that, I invite you to arrive by opening your eyes and being fully present here with us.
Thank you, Michael. We're talking today about change. Who loves change? Raise your hand. Okay. Can you imagine what the world would be like without it? Huh? Well, I can too, and I don't think I like it very much.
Use the mic.
Shall I use the mic? Does
Yes,
everybody want to
please.
use the mic? Okay. So because our candles are magic candles that light themselves, we know that they are lit in honor of our oneness. We acknowledge all the people in all their various faiths. We recognize for each of us that our spiritual path may be quite different from our neighbors, that we each search for what brings us comfort, support, connection, meaning, and peace. We honor all life and our beautiful earth home. We all are one. We come from the one great universal presence, and we acknowledge that here today. May all be blessed. I've got to say, Sherry, wherever you are, thank you for that song. In it, somewhere it says, if I can't see, something in me sees. If I can't know, something in me knows. And that's how change gets to be beautiful. From Living the Science of Mind, a book by Ernest Holmes. He says the very fact that 2 blades of grass can be made to grow where only one grew before is an affirmation that the universe itself did not limit the growth. It waited for someone to perceive its possibility. That's where you and I come in. He says poverty will one day be wiped from the face of the earth, not because God will someday decide that he is ready to change conditions, but because people cooperating with the divine and with nature and with law will proclaim an abundance that already exists, a new way of looking at change. We will cease not when God decides this for us, but when enough people know that it is no longer desirable and steadfastly maintain their position from communion with Spirit, man will come to perceive the deeper reality, the broader sharing and human experience. So disease will one day be wiped from the earth, as science, sense, and the philosophy of spiritual truth take the place of ignorance, superstition, fear, and confusion. You are a forerunner in this field, breaking down barriers of race consciousness, the accumulated effect of misconceptions, and the morbid fears of the universe in which we live. When science, common sense, and a right philosophy combine, the half-gods will have to go. There's no point for waiting for this. This is us. This is now. We are the force of change.
Woo!
Nice thought, huh? Let's pray together. Let's go inside. Eyes open, eyes closed, your choice. But breathe in the feeling in this room. Recognizing that divine spirit that is here inside each of us, and when we are together inside all of us, and how it grows. Using this divine power for good in every moment of our lives, and here in this place today. We recognize the power and the beauty of change. The way in which growth allows us to become ever more who we are, ever more capable of spreading this philosophy for good out into the world, to begin to create a world that really does work for everyone, in which there is peace and joy and love and caring everywhere. We recognize that possibility today, and we live it, each of us, in our lives, knowing that change begins right here and right now. In deep gratitude for this time, for this place, and for this knowing. We simply let it be in gratitude, knowing the work is done. As together we say.
So the theme this month is change, embrace change, and my title for today's talk is Change. And it's a perfect day because we're in the midst of change. The weather has shifted yet again in that wonderful time of year where we experience all the wonderful dimensions of weather here at the top of Utah. But before I get to that, there's somebody that I would like to acknowledge in this community, somebody that has been so supportive of us as a community. For 9 years now, This individual has supported me and been a great source of mentorship. This person has been a part of this community, and so I want to honor them today. As you know, if you've come here often enough, you've heard me mention this, that we share all of the good that comes into our center, all of the financial flow that comes in. We then give back out into the community 10% of everything that we bring in. This is practicing the law of circulation. And when we do this, and I do it personally and the center does it, when we do this, we step into the flow of givingness, the flow of life and the flow of abundance, and create more. We attract more of what we're giving out. So I'd like to acknowledge this person as being a person that has continuously been generous in giving their love and their support to this center. And so, Reverend Myrna, would you come up and... Thank you.
Yes, son. You rock. We all rock.
I hope that each of you stay afterwards for our special meeting. Behind the scenes, it takes a lot to, not a lot in a heavy way, but it takes a lot to organize what we do here. I know it looks seamless. Every Sunday you come and here we are. It takes a lot of organization and structure and coming together and co-creating. And so the board of directors wanted to share with you a little insight into what goes on behind the scenes and how to bring you into a greater place of feeling empowered and stepping into a place of co-creation. Because this community takes all of us. It's said, an African proverb, it takes a village to raise a child. Well, it takes a community to raise a community. The tasks and the duties to grow a spiritual community and run a center take all of us. And because we want this to be a collaborative, we want everybody's input and insight and help and vision so that we can create what you want. This isn't about what one person or the board of directors wants. This is a community. And so please stay, and we've prepared lunch for you, and we won't take too long. So if you can, please stay and join us afterwards. So my talk today, I don't know if it's because I'm dyslexic or what my excuse is for this, but I am very dyslexic. I find it super helpful to create acronyms for my talk titles. And so today I took the word change. Choose harmony. Choosing harmony allows newness and grace to emerge. Choosing harmony allows newness and grace to emerge. So, don't you love that?
Yes.
It's good. So you might remember that. I think that an acronym helps us to remember spiritual teachings. It does for me anyway. So we're always at choice. And I remember a choice I made when I was in my 20s. I was really struggling. I was married to an alcoholic drug addict at the time, not my Michael. It was another Michael. Michael's. And I was a mother of 3 beautiful children. One of my children's here today. And I was in such a place of struggle. And I came to a center like this. I'd actually read a book called You Can Change Your Life by Louise Hay. And I was attending Al-Anon at the time, 12-step program. And and I was really tuning into my spirituality. I really was feeling there was a call within me to step up to a greater expression of being. I was uncomfortable in the stasis, in the sort of the discomfort of my own being. My soul was wanting change. My heart was wanting change. There was a life that I knew was possible, but I didn't know how to get there. And so I was searching and I was reading, and I came across that book, and one thing led to another, and I was guided to a center like this one in Vista, California. That's in San Diego County. And I went in and I listened to Reverend Brian Anderson and his wife, Reverend Sheila Anderson, and they shared with me a message of change. And they shared in that half-hour talk, or however long it was, that there was something that I could do to change my life. And they introduced this philosophy of the science of mind. And ever since that day, I've been coming to centers like this, sitting in the front row, bringing my children, and you notice I have 3, only one's here, so it only affected one of them. Thank goodness. Well, and living these teachings, coming every week, hungry for that inspiration that I got from listening to the music, from being around like-minded people, being in a community where people could see that light in me, that namaste, the divinity in me honors the divinity in you. And in that energy, in that container, I felt lifted up. And maybe you feel that way coming here. You come in and you feel connected to the people, the music, you get a sense that, yeah, maybe I don't know, but there's something inside me that does. Like Sherry's song was saying, I don't know what to do, but there's something inside me that does. And somehow coming to hear this message and read this Science of Mind book helps me to tune in to the real me, the authentic me. And so I want to share a quote from Dr. Ernest Holmes, the author of The Science of Mind. What we are now, or what we now have and experience, is the result of what we have thought. Do you get that? That who you are now and what you have now is a result of what you've thought. And the answer to what we shall be is contained in what we are now thinking, for we can change our thinking. That was such a radical idea to me at the time, that I could actually change my thinking, that I could focus my attention in a different way, and I could formulate different thoughts through affirmations and spiritual prayers that would help me to become more me than I'd ever been in the past. That I didn't have to settle for random thoughts or negative thoughts, that I could put a stop to that and actually change the thoughts I was thinking. Because this philosophy told me that if I changed the way I thought, the things in my life would change. That we live in a holographic universe where what's happening in this particular consciousness affects that outside. That. And so I started to change my thinking. I started to think a new thought. This philosophy isn't about enduring conditions. This philosophy is about changing conditions. Do you hear that? This philosophy, if you're really living these principles, if you're really taking responsibility for the thoughts you're thinking, if you're really doing the things you need to do, affirmations, spiritual study, surrounding yourself with positive people, if you're really doing that, you're going to experience a significant shift and change in your life. So it's up to you, it's up to me. And that was the good message that I kept coming back to hear. And it absolutely changed the conditions of my life. Because what I was experiencing in my family, that I used to think was so terrible. That's why I was going to Al-Anon, to try and fix this problem that was happening in my life. There was no problem out there. It wasn't my husband. God bless him. He was my greatest teacher. It was me. It was me that had the responsibility to change my thoughts and look at the world in a whole different way. And when I changed, guess what? He changed. Everything changed around me. I began to build up the strength and the confidence to make some really big changes. I stopped placing my good on him and out there and started using through the affirmations and through my prayers, I started to realize that God is my source, that spirit or universal intelligence or whatever you call it, the thing itself, life, universal mind, that's my source. And I tune into that through my own mentality. And I began to take power and take charge of my life. And so as things started to change, I started to more and more choose the thoughts that I think and started to absolutely focus on what I wanted to bring into my reality, into my experience. So the way I did this was, number one, I started to focus. So these are some keys. So for those of you that like to take notes, focus. So I started to really develop a focus on what I wanted, because I seemed to be habituated to focus on what I didn't want, and then that kind of expanded, and that became my experience. So I became a disciplined focuser, and I remained steadfast on focusing on what I wanted to experience. So what is it that you want? Where's your energy going? Where do your thoughts go? In the small hours when you wake up in the middle of the night, where do you seem to go? And just notice throughout the day and in the night, what are you focusing on? Because what you're focusing on enhances, increases, and then becomes your life. Thoughts. So number 2 is thoughts. You're the thinker that thinks the thoughts that creates the things. Your life is a reflection of your thoughts. Your life is a reflection of your thoughts. So the good news is we can start thinking positively and stop thinking negatively. Easier said than done, right? But once you become aware that you have a choice here, that you have a choice, you can choose the thoughts. You can start thinking more positively. I like to call them empowering thoughts versus disempowering thoughts. Empowering thoughts versus disempowering thoughts. At any moment of the day, you can just stop. Maybe you check in. Maybe you set your timer on your phone for every couple of hours. And you ask yourself, am I thinking disempowering thoughts? Am I thinking empowering thoughts? Because the disempowering thoughts are going to create a certain kind of life. And I don't think you're going to want that life. But the empowering thoughts are going to create the kind of life that you want. So, disempowering thoughts, empowering thoughts. Your choice. Your choice. Then energy. So the third one is energies. We get to manage our own energy. And that's our responsibility. And the best way to manage your energy is through meditation, through mindfulness. Last night I went to a kirtan, a bhakti kirtan event, and some of you are also in the room that were there last night. And I went because I know that when I'm doing kirtan, kriya, when I'm doing mantras and meditation that way, it opens up pathways in my energetic body, because we're energetic beings. We're human beings. We're spiritual beings. We're part mind, we're part body, and we're something else. We're that ineffable spirit. So we have an opportunity and a responsibility to manage our energies. And we can do that through our breath work, through meditation, tuning in, becoming really tuned in to what is going on? Because we have the ability to create our bodies by the choices that we make. We can, through yoga, through meditation, through affirmations and all of those type of things, we can create a body that is more receptive to catch a vision, more receptive to our spiritual nature, more receptive to catch a download, to become aware of the beauty that is all around us. So it's our responsibility to manage our energies. And then there's action. Action. Each of us are responsible for our actions. What are you doing in your life? Are you taking classes? Are you studying? Are you putting these philosophies into practice? Are you using affirmations? Are you reprogramming your brain from the slant to the negative to the positive? We create new neural pathways through the ongoing, repetitive thinking of a new thought, affirming a new way of being. We create changes, chemical changes in our brain that will absolutely mirror back to us as changes in our life. Change your thinking, change your life. You are the thinker that thinks the thoughts, that creates the things. Our life is merely a reflection of our consciousness. And we're waking up. We are waking up. This isn't new thoughts. This is very old, ancient wisdom. These truths have always been around. We're just human beings that are having an awakening to the more subtle nature of our being. Just like electricity has always been around. Back in the days of Caesar, electricity was around, but they didn't know how to use it. They didn't know how to direct electricity to be able to create lights, so they used candles and oil and what have you for lights. This wisdom, this awareness has always been around and available, but we're just now, over the last couple of 100 years, realizing that the human being can tune in to this subtle energy, this power, and use it through our mentality, through our mind, to direct our thoughts that then affect the field, the matrix, and then that's mirrored back to us, because we're all connected in this oneness. Am I making sense?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay, good. So, we can start tuning in and stop tuning out. Stop tuning out, distracting yourself with addictions, with negativity, with all those things that tune you out and numb you and block you from your own spiritual magnificence, and tune in. So develop a practice. Maybe you want to start praying. Mala beads. Use some mala beads and start praying. Start developing a practice of walking meditation so you can tune in. So, with actions, stop doing things that don't align with your focus, with your vision, whatever you're calling in, and start doing things that do align. You can always ask yourself, is this choice I'm making, this decision, does this align with my vision, with my highest desire for my life? Or does this action I'm taking take me down a path I don't want to go? And then it's easy, you just stop. S-T-O-P. Surrender to one power. Surrender to the one power that you are and make a choice that leads you down the path to what it is you want to be, to who you want to be, and how you want to be, and what you want to experience. It's simple. Next is your emotions. Check your emotions. Create environments where you're feeling uplifted. Stop reacting and start responding. We react from our ego mind that wants to fix and correct and judge and have opinions. And we react from that place, and then we lead down a road that we don't want to go. So we start realizing that we can respond from our highest nature, our spiritual nature, our essence. There's our ego and our essence. And when we start responding, there's a natural harmony and ease and flow to life. And then we experience. Choosing harmony allows newness and grace to emerge. Choosing harmony, what does that mean? Harmony, harmonious thoughts, words, actions, energies, emotions. There's a congruence in us. Our thoughts and our words, our energies, our emotions, and our actions are all congruent. They all line up. There's an ease and flow. This is the law of attraction. This is how we move in harmony with the universe and attract to us what we want. The universe is just ready to say yes. Your wish is my command. Just organize ourselves. We choose harmony. We align our thoughts, our words, our energies, our actions, and our emotions with what it is and who it is we're coming into being. And then voila, all of a sudden our life is the one we want. And we're not groaning and moaning anymore, because what we're experiencing is a direct reflection of our own loving consciousness. These practices, this way of being, this choosing harmony and allowing newness and grace to emerge, this will open you up to who you really love. Just love, that's it. And when you can respond from love, even in the face of your spouse not being the spouse you think they should be, or your job not being the job that you want it to be, or your bank account not being as full as you'd like, even in the face of that, you do not allow situations, circumstances, and people be the source of your happiness. That's not their job. That's your job. And it happens when you're tuned in to the love that you are. Then you'll stop holding people hostage and stop making people responsible for your own success and happiness. That's your job.
Yes.
Yeah?
Yes.
Yes?
Yes.
Yes?
Yes.
Okay, so I have an affirmation. So listen and repeat. I embrace my great, big, wonderful life.
I embrace my great, big, wonderful life.
I move with ease and flow.
I move with ease and flow
Through all of life's happenings.
through all of life's happenings.
And I give thanks for the ever-changing landscape.
And I give thanks for the ever-changing landscape.
I choose harmony.
I choose harmony.
And I allow
And I allow
newness and grace to
newness and grace to emerge.
Let's do that one again. Okay, I choose harmony.
I choose harmony.
And I allow
And I allow
newness and grace to emerge.
newness and grace to emerge.
I choose harmony.
I choose harmony.
And allow
And allow
newness.
newness and grace to emerge.
All right. So there you have it. Change. Choosing harmony allows newness. Newness. Seeing with new eyes. We're always living in a fresh new now, a fresh new moment. So when you're choosing harmony, we're seeing newness in the now moment, and then grace emerges naturally. It's our birthright. It's the law of the universe. It's always been there like electricity. You just have to tune in. So thank you. Namaste. All right, so the kids are coming back in, and it's our time of offering. So I'd love you to take your offering in your hands. And when you're practicing the law of circulation here, this is a reverential communing with the law, with life. You're in essence saying, thank you, life. I've received so much goodness. Thank you for my body, for my mind, for this experience, this oneness. And I simply say thank you. And this offering is a demonstration. It's me putting my name to the check of life. which says yes. So I'm saying yes to myself and yes to life. So please join me in the blessing of the offering. Joyfully I give with gratitude, for I know that as I give it. I allow the abundant nature of the universe to flow through me now. I am so blessed, and so it is. We are the world. We are the children. We are the ones to make a brighter day. So let's start giving. It's a choice we're making. We're saving our own lives. It's true, we make a better day. Just you and me. We are the world. We are the children. We are the ones to make a brighter day. So let's start giving. It's a choice we're making. We're saving our own lives. It's true, we make a better day. Just you and me. Something wonderful is truly happening every time that we meet, every time we get together in this space. It's on already. It's on, but it's not working. Every time we get together in this space, the love expands. I can see it in your eyes. You can feel it in the hand that you're holding. This is the way that Spirit shows up. Just take a look around this circle. Doesn't Spirit show up in a magnificent rainbow of colors and shapes and sizes and beautiful? Beautiful. So let's close our eyes as we close in prayer, acknowledging the one life that is living us, breathing us, moving us right now. This one life that we are co-creating with and in. Thank God we're here. Thank God we're alive. Thank God that we can choose thoughts, align our energies, and create our experience. How powerful that is. So I give thanks today for this offering, for each of you giving and sharing your gifts, your times, your talents, your treasures to support this community. I know and accept that we are wise stewards of this energy. And we send this energy out into the universe to create even more love, more opportunities for people to wake up to their true spiritual brilliance and magnificence. And so I truly say thank you for the gifts that have been given here today, and for the shifts in consciousness, the people that are waking up, the people that tuned in to a greater, deeper dimension of their being today, for the kids that are truly a blessing in our lives, that are through our Empower program learning how to become powerful co-creators of their own experience. I give thanks to Heather and Jay for supporting them, Michael today in the Empower program. So I know that something wonderful is happening today.
Something wonderful is happening right now.
It is this thing called change.
It is this thing called change.
Changes in my mind.
Changes in my mind.
Changes in my heart.
Changes in my heart.
Changes in all of my affairs.
Changes in all of my affairs.
I know this.
I know this.
I feel this.
I feel this.
I am this.
I am this.
And you know what?